Welcome to the Reidsville Chamber of Commerce News and Views Show. I'm your host, Diane Sawyer, President and CEO of the Reidsville Chamber. Today's guest we have with us, Shannon Coates. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have you. A lot going on here lately with you.
It is a lot.
Well, we just had your ribbon cutting for your grand opening. Tell us about that, like how that all came to be. It's kind of a cool little story.
Yeah, it'll be 5 years this year, in this October. I started my antique store down on the south end here at the corner at Scales and Settle. So the Hall family, Carolyn Hall, Hallwell and Plumbing, owned the building. And I have to give a big shout out to her and her family for allowing me to lease the building and get started there. And so over time, we just kind of grew. And so it was kind of getting tight in there. And so I wasn't really looking for another building. It just so happened last year, this one I heard was coming available because Rich, who ran Phelps Printing, was retiring finally. And so I made my way up and spoke to him, kind of walked around the building, and then got in touch with Tommy Weeks, who's Laura Phelps' son, and had lunch with him and went back and walked around the building and took a look because I knew I really needed a bigger spot. Now this is a whole lot bigger. It's 8,400 square feet. And so after walking through, just looking at it, and it was a little bit tough to get the image with all the stuff and equipment that was in there. But putting my mind to it and kind of getting a vision of what it might look like, I thought that was the building I needed. I think it fits with the hardwood floors in there. I just think it fits the antique look for business and store, and in the space, of course, needed that for storage and things like that on the second floor. But it was a process where we closed down in April, and I had purchased this in March, and this is really people don't think I'm joking when I say this, but the day I signed the paperwork at the lawyer's office and it was officially mine, I came up here and started work on it because the main part was having to clean it out. And so I missed from March till we opened up July 2nd about 5 days. I would come up here early in the morning, work, go home for supper, come back, maybe get home about 9, 10 o'clock at night. Because I had a timeline I wanted to try to get open. And so had a few repairs that needed to be made, and things like that. Nothing major, just minor stuff. And knocked it out, and then we got to open up July 2nd. So it's been fun. It was a tough process. It wore me out. My body's still recouping from it. But other than that, it's rewarding when you're able to move somewhere like that and finally get open. So we've enjoyed it. We've had a blast.
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
It is.
There's so many things, so many dimensions to this. So, first up, that is an amazing building. And it's in the 100 block. So you moved up the street, and it has been around since
1932 it was built.
So just like many of these other buildings, it was built as one of the first here in Reidsville.
It's really a solid building, and from the research that I've done, it may be one of the first buildings in town here that has steel beams in it. And underneath those hardwood floors on the main level, it's all concrete under there. And so it's it's a solid building. And there is a basement. It's not a real big basement, and I'm really not going to use it, but there's 2 tunnels in the basement that go all the way from the back to the front of the building. And I guess they used it for access for, pipe or something back in the day. One side don't have anything, but the other's just kind of electrical and some plumbing going through there. And that's pretty much it, but it's just solid concrete. And the other interesting part of that, it used to have an elevator. It used to have a service elevator. So in the back corner on the main level, in the back corner is a roll-up door. That's where the elevator used to be. And we're not sure when they closed that up, but the cage and everything's upstairs. So the elevator cage is all upstairs. It's a pulley system, not a motor. It's a pulley system with the rope. And the only thing that's gone is the shaft. So I'm going to look into that. I'd like to try to see what it would take to get that operable again. I don't know what the requirements are or how that works, but I'm gonna dig into that a little bit and see if I can get that back up and running. I think that would be
a cool feature.
I think that'd be neat. Because there's a few buildings around here that had those. One still, I don't think it's operable, but it's all still there in one of the old buildings. And this one, lucky enough, they just cabled off the cage and carriage upstairs, and that's still there. So I'm gonna look at that and see what that takes.
That is cool. So in our building, we don't have that, but we have the 2 dumbwaiters.
Yeah.
So we have one that's operable and one that we shut down. Yeah.
So it's fun. It's gonna be fun.
It is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of fun in that building, might be a little haunted, huh?
There's been some things happen since I've been in there. Doors open up, which I have witnessed. Probably 10 feet from me, the front door. We're getting ready to sand the display window floors in there, and the hardwood, and stain it. And so me and my buddy that was up there helping me, it's just us there. Back door's closed because didn't want nobody, coming through the back. And it was just us up there, and we had the front door open because we've been going in and out. No wind blowing. If you've come in there and opened up the door yourself, you feel the weight of the door about similar to what you have here. And I just don't think a slight breeze would push the door open. And you have a chime that when it opens up, it immediately chimes. And so we were there one day, and we'd finished sanding, wiped it down, was getting ready to stain it. And I hear the chime. Now, we're standing 10 feet there, and the whole front of the building, is windows. And so I hear the chime, and I'm like saying to myself, who is coming in the door, And I look up, and there's nobody there. Nobody. And the door is open. I mean, not barely open. It's open, and it's coming back to close. And so I looked at my buddy, and I said, did you see that? And he goes, yeah, I see it. And if somebody had done that and was walking off, you would see them. You would see. You couldn't miss them. And so that was that one. And then you hear footsteps upstairs, and because of the creaks of the floor. And then the day before we opened up on that Wednesday the 2nd, we were up there straightening up, and I'd set an old toy down, plastic toy, that we broke the front of it. And so I knew I was just going to trash it because it wasn't no count. And I'd laid it on it was a desk, school desk, and the seat was about that high off the floor. And forgot to throw it away, so when I came in Wednesday to open it up, that Wednesday morning, I cut the lights on, come in the back door, come around the pole like I normally do, and there it is in the floor in about 1,000 pieces. And I'm sitting there going, how did that happen? Because there's no way it's going to fall 14 inches and just shatter like that. I don't see how it could. So I was just kind of like, well, that's interesting, So nothing else since the car thing has happened. Now Todd, the friend of mine that helps us up there, he's heard the bell ding at the counter, like for service. He's heard that when I was upstairs, and I hadn't heard that, but he heard that one. But the other one's definitely very interesting. So I said to myself, I've worked too hard on this building.
You're not running me off.
You ain't running me off. No, we're just going to have to deal with it.
Well, we have a little prayer over the ribbon cutting.
Maybe that'll work.
I hope that's going to work.
Maybe
I'll be curious to see if other things happen.
Yeah. I hadn't put cameras up yet, so, sometimes the camera picks up things. So I'm looking at some different types of cameras, so we'll see. May have some interesting stuff.
Definitely interested. Yeah. It's funny. I went and I've been in a lot of buildings, obviously, in town since starting this job. And there have been a couple times that I've kind of, thought, I don't really want to be in this space. But I've also been in the old haunted house when it was still the haunted house, but during the day. And that was creepy, because that whole building is just something. So it's interesting. You have these old floors and the old creaks, and when you walk and hardwood and stuff like that, you'll hear them. I mean, I know you hear stuff settle and things like that, but when it's like a constant walking away from you, so it's kind of like, Well, we'll stay tuned and see how that kind of plays out.
May do a different episode over there or something, maybe.
Well, we've already had some stuff in our county, so might be that we are the next. Who knows?
You never know. And you went back to how old the building was, and so when I want to say when it was originally built, it was like a 5 and dime, kind of like your general store. And then at one point it was a church in there. And then when the Felts purchased it and moved up here from down where Screen Printing, I think, is moving in, they used to be Rossi's and print shop. So they moved from there up here when they bought it. And wasn't aware that Mr. Phelps had a priest come in and do his thing. I didn't know about that. Rich didn't tell me about that, but so I was like, well, it must have been something happened for him to do that. So
yeah, must have been.
Yeah, I'll dig into that a little bit and see if I can find out from
how interesting.
History. Yeah, so.
Well, we don't know of anything that happened in the building though, like on public record, like in the store. Like, I mean, a church could be anything because people bring things in with them, and there could have been funerals, and there could have been all kinds of things there.
Well, plus I'm bringing old stuff in,
but
and people's like, something might be attached to it, but
that's legit though.
Really?
I mean, people ought to believe in that.
That's right.
So
could
well,
be.
I'll be interested to keep up with that, if nothing else, for the traffic that it may bring to the store, or the in general, just people curious.
We are excited to be up here on this end, and like I said, we worked hard, and my mom had a episode where during the process she fell and broke her left wrist, and so that kind of set back on what she could do. But after she had her surgery and stuff, came right back up here and used the good one she had and was emptying boxes out. So I mean, that's what we did. So we wanted to really push that deadline that we had to get open. So we was really working hard.
It looks so good. Yeah. I mean, the way they've organized it, and I know they were the ones that kind of decorated, placed things.
Her and her sister, my aunt, did all the decorating and stuff, and then I kind of moved the heavy stuff around. So that's kind of how that worked. Yeah,
speaking of heavy stuff, all the old equipment. Oh my gosh, that was a time.
It was we got out about probably total, I would say maybe 9,000 pounds of steel of old machinery in there. Now, and that was stuff that really you couldn't use. It was parts and things like that. And I kept a couple of things. And the old printing presses that's in there, the one in the front room when you come in, that's the oldest. And then you have the Heidelberg that's in the main area off to the left in there. But both of those, they do work. We just, disconnected the power on it so nobody could cut it on. But they do. You can fire them right up and they'll work. So we left those more of a conversation piece, and things like that. And it was funny, last Friday, Roger Pascal, his son brought him up here to the store, and he used to work in Phelps Printing. And he used to run those printing presses that's in there. And he sat right over there and said, this is how this works, this is what I did here and all. So it brought back a lot of memories, and he shared a lot of information about those pieces of equipment. So that was really, really pretty neat to be able to listen to them.
Very full circle.
Yeah. Yep.
That's really awesome. So those are the kinds of things. I mean, you have quite the store frontage here in the 100 blocks. That building is large.
It is big.
It is big. And then you've got these opportunities to connect with the community and just be there. As a lot of people know this if you've been in the community a long time, but folks who are younger may not know. I mean, Reidsville is known for antiques and the antique alley and the festival and all the things. And so, people come in the visitor center all the time. Like, where can I go? I'm out antiquing. I'm looking for, and it used to be they would be looking for a backwards glance, or they were looking for things that used to be open on the back street. But it's been a while since we've had that large of a store, like on Scale Street.
Right.
So I think it's awesome. It definitely fits a need because it happens
it
often
does.
in here.
Yeah, it does. And I wanted to do this venture after I retired from the police department. And but one thing led to another, and I just took it and ran with it. It laid in my lap, so I went with it. And I wanted to do it more or less. It's fun. It's something to bring downtown. It's something to bring to the visitors and to the citizens and things like that. Because that type of business is really not walk in there. It's really not a need. It's more of a want.
Oh, for sure.
Now we do have some old cooking stuff and people may need, because that's what they use. but really majority of the stuff is more of a want.
Oh, they need it to
Yeah.
complete their collection.
Right. Yeah, you can look at it that way. That's right. Because people collect a lot of stuff, a lot of different things, but you never know when somebody walks in what they're there for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just all across the board what people look for. So that's very interesting. Meet a lot of new people, make new friends. We get a lot of out-of-town visitors.
People just don't realize, they don't think there's a need for the services for visitors. But, I mean, we have people in here all the time, and we help them with, I mean, the most random. It comes from, hey, I'm a photographer. Send me that stuff on that quilt trail. I want to go, you know, to the old barns. I want to go to the ones downtown. I want to come out and I want to take pictures of the quilts. Okay. You know, hey, I'm coming to town for a wedding. We're interested in XYZ. What can we do? Hey, like, where are all the fishing spots in Reidsville? That was one a couple weeks ago. You know, and we get the antique call quite a bit. Hey, I'm antiquing. I want to come. Like, tell us where to go. And so, I mean, we, from laying out maps and drawing out stuff to telling people where to go eat or where to go shop or where to stay overnight, you know, it's all of those things. And I just don't think people realize it's very interesting because they come from all over.
Yeah,
I mean, all over, like not even out of the country, but the ones we see the most are the ones who are traveling. Either they'll stop because they're taking a kid to college or because they're going to see family members. But, you know, it's that whole, the northern folks who've made their way to Florida and now they're coming back. And I don't know that people realize this, but all the work, especially that Judy Yarbrough did years ago, but the Retire Reidsville, the Reside in Reidsville, those things matter because it puts us on the map. And then people like you are able to interact, and
it does. I mean, it's we get a lot of out of town folks. When we have the shows here, you know, we get a lot of folks that are killing time that'll come in waiting for the doors to open, and then we get the entertainers. That are walking around killing time. They'll come in. We've had Pam Tillis.
Pam Tillis was one of them.
We've had Rhonda Vincent. Just about every time she's here. Malpass Brothers, they come in all the time. So I got to let Dewey know, hey, let them know we moved. Yeah, because a couple of people's gone down there. You know, a lot of people don't do Facebook and things like that. So a lot of people's gone down. It's like, oh my gosh, what happened to them? You know, where'd they go? And then they'll ask somebody and they say, oh, they moved up next block. So but yeah, it's been fun. We've enjoyed it. And that's, you know, I look back at my time serving on council too, and I talk to folks, and that's one of the reasons that I'm working hard as I can with the city and in Summer and her departments and stuff to try to get these vacant and empty buildings filled once again. And I tell people, just be patient. We're working on it. We're working with the owners because we currently are. We're in a process of trying to get them involved and understanding, hey, we got people lined up that are trying to get a building.
Trying to get a building.
And I don't want to be the type of person to where we have to step in and then force government on somebody. I don't like that. So to where, you know, okay, now you're sitting here and your building's falling apart. We're going to have to condemn it if something ain't done. I don't want to have to for it to come to that. But what I'm hoping is the owners of some of these buildings will say, yeah, you know, I've had it long enough, I want to sell it. Or what can we do to help you fix it up and rent it out and bring that income into yourself?
That's right.
And instead of just sitting there letting it deteriorate and you're paying taxes on it every year, let's see what we can do to get it full.
Well, there's such a double-edged sword. It was such a great segue because I was actually going to say the last time you and I talked and we were talking about you retiring from the PD and we were talking about opening the store. And since then, you have been elected to the city council. And so it was a great segue. That's exactly what I was going to say. You know, we've got this public forum coming up and we've got all this work that's going on behind the scenes. And so you talk about how to get these building owners involved. And the problem is there's just a really fine line there, right? Because you've got the central business district. The rest of this block matters to me just as a property owner because we're connected. Our buildings, like if somebody's building falls in, if it goes up in flames, like we have problems, right? And so that's where it's a really, really fine line. And there's going to be a time that's going to come that if we can't get these people on board, you're going to be looking at those kinds of things, because there becomes safety issues. And we've had that with some of these buildings, stuff falling off the buildings under the sidewalk, all up and down. We've had it on 4 or 5 that I can think of. It's one of the things that I looked into with our building. We are really fortunate from how the timeline of this building and the brick glaze that was put on. And so and then we repaired the stucco work 2 years ago. So, I mean, you know, we feel like that as building owners, but as the chamber, obviously we want these vacant buildings filled. We want traffic downtown, because for the other people like yourself and everybody else, I mean, we want foot traffic. Yeah. We want movement downtown. We want people living downtown. And I think that's what's really important is, you know, the general public just does not understand all the things that are in the processes. So you just did a lot of that. You just did it. You purchased a building from somebody, had to put the work into it, had some minor repairs. But there are people who are really putting in the work and putting in the work, not just downtown, but the entire city. And so one of the things that we're doing, we're having this public forum, the Java and jargon for the UDO, make it make sense. And one of the layman's terms like that I have used, or the way I've explained it to people with the Unified Development Ordinance, is we have a document from the 80s that we have just amended and amended and amended. And you guys have amended since you've been on, because there's a constant need for it. And so it's kind of like sticky notes in a book. Yeah. And we are going to rewrite the book, make it very clean, very easy to understand, try to get rid of some of the red tape, some of the gray areas, things that are hard to interpret, because that's been one of the favorite words that gets, the buzzwords that gets thrown around is interpretation. And try to make it clean and easy. But just know that life goes on and development continues to happen, and we're going to continue to make that effort. So really encourage people to get signed up for September 16th. Come out, give your, you know, opinions, ask your questions. There's a place right now that you can submit questions on a website. I feel like city staff is killing it. They are trying really hard. But to your point, there's a lot of really hard work being done by folks like yourself, approaching building owners, trying to talk to building owners. I mean, every day, phone calls, text messages, emails. Diane, I want to do this. Diane, I want to open a building. Diane, what I need something, and we don't have the inventory. Like, it's not available. So, you know, I just think that people need to understand how hard that the people behind the scenes are working. And it's our job, I feel like, to tell that story. And you guys are doing so much, like the council, and like you said, working with Summer, trying to make things happen.
Yeah. Things are going well. We all work together really well. And we're all, you know, Summer has a vision. I mean, I'll give her credit. She's got a big vision, and that's what I like. And I do too. But I really want to see our city thrive. I want to see our downtown thrive. And you got to have those attractions to bring people to the downtown. You know, now we're getting ready to struggle on dining in downtown. Don't have anything. Turtle Creek's closed. La Boca Loca, I think, is getting ready to wrap up the end of this month. And they may try to relocate into a different building. But, we don't have anything. So that's a huge part. I've always said that your downtown is pretty much your heart of the city. It's your heartbeat. And so we've got to get it. We've got to get people on board. We've got to get these building owners on board that have these empty buildings. You know, you got some of them that use it for storage, and you can't have that. You just can't. If you're going to have a city to thrive and your downtown to thrive, we've got to do something. We've got to work together on it. And hopefully, and I think we're making progress on some of these buildings with the owners, and I know a lot of them, and I've been talking to a lot of them. So, you know, if they can see the vision that we have, and I want people to take pride in their property, in their building. You know, I do. You know, I did a lot of work. I put a lot of time and effort and sweat and everything into that building. And you'll see me out here in the mornings when I open up, and I'm out there blowing the front off because, you know, the pots that we have, the petals are falling, and and I'm cleaning it up. You know, I'm blowing it off and keeping it neat and clean and having that attraction. And that's how you change your downtown. and you get these little storefronts, different little things going on, little eating places that are open for supper time. And, and I hear it from all the other business owners too, and shoppers, well, everything shuts down in downtown and stuff. Well, if we can have a few more things here, and you have your dining options here in downtown, then maybe your business owners will probably be open a little longer.
Oh, yeah.
You go in and eat supper, and say it's 7 o'clock, and you say, let's walk off for supper. Let's walk. It's nice outside. Let's walk downtown. And then you have a few of your shops that's still open. But as of right now, you don't have that. And so I think, if you kind of work that level, and kind of get that on board, and I'm working right now. I've been talking to some people I know, some developers on some buildings downtown here that are, I guess, are available for sale. That's what I was told, and I mentioned it to him. So we'll see if he wants to dab into that, and a few other things.
Some of it's a little bit too like cart before the horse, right? And so like right now, you currently have a couple of your boutiques that are staying open till 6, and now Boardwalk Baker has started that they are now going to be open on Thursdays until 6. And so there's kind of, okay, you got 2 neighbors who are open till 6, potentially could be later if there were to be business, but we got to go out and support them while they're going to be open.
And see, I'm open till 6.
And you're open till 6.
And so it does catch, you catch some of those folks getting off of work or whatever that wants time to kill, or they need to run out and pick up something for somebody.
Well, or people who are having meetings, like Reidsville Area Foundation. We were just talking. We had coffee there. They had a meeting the other day, and they wanted to grab a snack from Boardwalk, but it was after 4. And so I said, she was like, I'm really excited. She's going to be open till 6 on Thursdays. We're going to try to support that. And, that's what it's going to take. It's going to take a little bit of give on both sides for us to make something really get traction and start.
And, events go on, stuff will stay open a little later. Because you will have that foot traffic and people coming in, looking, and you might not make a sale by, 1 or 2 people coming in or something like that. Then the other ones come in, they do, or they may have kids. We've had that. And the mother was like, I'll come back when I ain't got my kids with me, But that's the first time they came in and check your shop out, and then they do come back. So, but that's just because you're open up maybe an extra hour because something's going on. You're catching that foot traffic. So it's a lot. And I mean, we're doing a lot of work, like you said, with the UDO stuff. That is just people need to be patient because it's something.
Work.
It is old, outdated.
It is, and then the state law changed in the middle of the process. So there's just so many roadblocks and things that have happened, and people talk about government moves slow. Well, this is why, because we're trying to get it, right, but also other things make changes. But
government don't have to move that slow.
They don't.
You don't.
But sometimes it happens.
Yeah,
sometimes it happens. So there's kind of got to be a balance there.
Yeah, and with this UDO stuff, and I've mentioned it when we've had meetings about it, is read some of this stuff, and I'm just sitting there going, it's just, well, no wonder, it needs to be simple.
Yeah,
it's just simple, and make it easy to understand. You talked about a minute ago, interpretation. Well, Lord have mercy, anybody can interpret something one way. I do it one way.
That's right.
Now you got a mess, and that went on for years. So that's what we got to work out and get this stuff changed, because it is so outdated. Some of this stuff you read, it's just like, this is crazy.
It is, and it's not from 2025. That's for sure.
It is not. So,
and not looking to the future.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the big thing.
But it's a process, and that is slow process. To get all these things and these ordinances and all codes and stuff changed. I mean, it's a process, and but we're getting there. You got to do it in sections and segments and things like that to get it going.
Absolutely.
But I wish we could do it a little bit faster, because that's the way I move.
Same.
Me too. I'm ready to do it. Let's do it.
But it's got to be looked through and figured out, and so there's so much.
Yeah, and so one thing while we're talking on this, and I'll throw this at you because I'm sure there's some conversations stirring around about the mall. So, we've been working on that process with the owners of the mall, and the condition of the mall and things like that. And that's one of the things I ran on, when I was running for council, and that we got to do something about it. And so now that has been a process, because you got legalities that you got to go through and all.
Sure.
And so hopefully I'll just put this out there. Hopefully, within a week or two, we may have that resolved. So just stay tuned on that. And so fingers crossed.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, fingers crossed.
Well, we are out of time, so we'll end on that note. And anything else that you want to add or say?
No, I just appreciate it. I enjoy these talks. You can have me back anytime you want to. You can do 2 hours if you want to, because I can talk.
Oh, you and I could probably sit here all day.
Yeah, we can do that. So you can have me back anytime. Just stay tuned with us on a few things, and those listening and anybody you talk to, I just tell them, be patient. It like you said, it's not moving fast like I like it, but it happens. But especially with downtown, we're getting there. We're working with people. It's just a process. And so hopefully, I think within the next 3 years, you're really going to see the changes because of the growth of the city with these new construction.
I was going to say, we didn't even get to rooftops.
Yeah, no. I mean, the construction, I was adding it up the other day to somebody, and I want to say we voted, last several months, probably you're looking 1,700 new construction, whether they're single-family homes or townhomes or condo, whatever.
So desperately
you multiply that by 2 or 3 people per household, look at the population jump. So when you do that, now you got to have everything else to provide for the citizens here.
That's right.
So we're getting there. We've got to move, and I move a little faster than some people. That's just the way I am, and I like to keep things going. So I'm working on some things myself with a few people, and because I just want to see downtown grow and city grow as a whole, and just give options for our citizens, not just the people that live in the city. You got to think about the people outside the city that come here.
People don't understand that either when you look at the data, but especially with Greensboro coming this way, like Brown Summit, like Reidsville is where they come for their retail, which is why they've got retail popping up. They just opened an Ace Hardware in Brown Summit because they're capitalizing on the fact that there's nothing out there and people are coming here to buy their groceries and to shop.
They're trickling this way because
for sure.
Greensboro's maxed out and it's tight, but we're going to see that bump, and it's going to increase the population. So when that happens, we got to get the places in here for the people, the restaurants and retail and all that. So that's what we're doing. We're working on it.
Yep.
So
well, that is all we have for today, I think. So
appreciate it.
Yeah. Come back anytime.
You invite me, I'll be here. Okay. I really enjoy it. So
awesome.
Yep.
Well, that is all for today's news and views. As always, you can find us in the heart of downtown Reidsville at 140 South Scale Street and on our social media channels and at reidsvillechamber.org. Thanks and stay tuned. We'll see you soon.